Good morning. My name is Rudy Cuzzetto, and I'm the MPP for Mississauga Lakeshore and the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Energy and Mines, Stephen Lecce. It's a pleasure to join you here today with Eric Chazard, President and CEO of Bruce Power, Minister of Rural Affairs, Lisa Thompson, and Alexei Mikowski of Northern Transformer Corporations, as well as Keith Craig, and MPP of Thornhill, Laura Smith, and of course, Minister Stephen Lecce. Since taking on the role 2 years ago, Minister Lecce has been a champion for Ontario's energy sector, leading our efforts to ensure Ontario has a reliable, affordable, and clean energy we need to power new homes, businesses, hospitals, schools, and industries right across the province. Under the leadership of Minister Lecce, Ontario is delivering the largest expansion of nuclear energy in North America, including the refurbishment of our existing fleet and the development of the first small modular reactor in the G7. These projects are creating thousands of good-paying jobs, strengthening our economy, and helping secure Ontario's energy future for generations to come. Today's announcement is another example of what Ontario can achieve when government, industry partners, and skilled workers come together with the shared goal. It is an incredible accomplishment and it reinforces Ontario's reputation as a global leader in nuclear excellency. With that, please join me to welcome Ontario's Minister of Energy and Mines, the Honourable Stephen Lecce, to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. It is absolutely wonderful to be here for the first announcement at Northern Transformers, although I've been here many times, and to Alexei, to Giovanni, to the amazing women and men behind us today and this amazing organization, institution. I want to remind Canadians, as we often reflect on the news of the difficulty in the horizon when it comes to our economy, when it comes to the Canadian success story, when it comes to the immigrant dream. This man is the ultimate case study of what is possible through determination. Someone who came to our country, to Canada, with absolutely nothing in his pocket. In fact, he came with debt, no language, no relationships. He came here with the burning fire to leave a legacy, to leave his country stronger than he inherited it. And he built a company, almost in his garage. And today we're standing in this massive, brilliant, industrial success story that is a pillar of our energy ecosystem, a company that is investing over $200 million to build their second plant in Innisfil. That is a case study of success. It is a reminder that that dream is still alive, especially here in the energy ecosystem. And so Giovanni, Alexei, to your son and grandson with us today, to 3 generations of this family, I say thank you for believing in Canada, and thank you for allowing us to make a really important announcement that's going to, I think, make Canadians proud of the work we're doing within the energy space. I also want to thank all of our stakeholders and industry leaders, our skilled union representatives, and as well representatives from the Legislature of Ontario. Rudy Cuzzetto, Laura Smith, both of whom are deeply committed to the cause of Canada. Because when we're in an economic war, the question we're often faced with in government is, what can we do? What action can we take today to buttress our workforce, to protect our supply chain, to stand up for our workforce and for our businesses? And there's nothing more greater success that we can demonstrate than to invest in Canada, made in Canada. And that's what our Premier, Doug Ford, wants stamped on every material we use to the extent humanly possible as we build, and we build big. Because Ontario has a common problem amongst industrial economies. We need more power. We need a lot more power. We're talking about adding multipliers of the City of Toronto to the grid between now and 2050. This is a problem that's well socialized. And so the question for us in government is, how do we produce, how do we generate, how do we scale on time and on budget when it comes to energy generation? And I'm proud that Bruce Power has been at the leading sort of frontier of one of the largest clean energy infrastructure projects in Canadian history, to refurbish their project, to refurbish their asset, a project or a facility that generates roughly 30% of Ontario's energy just from the Bruce Peninsula alone. And they have a vision. We in this province and government have a vision to do even more. because with your continued support and our Premier's continued commitment to Bruce and to Bruce Power, we're going to be expanding this and scaling this success story as we look to build 4,800 net new megawatts of power at the Bruce Peninsula as we lead the Bruce C project, a project that we're talking about adding hundreds of billions of dollars of gain to the Canadian economy and tens of thousands of jobs. That is how we get people working. It's how we strengthen our economy. It's how we fire up the supply chain of Canada. But before we can look to tomorrow, we got to demonstrate today that we've got the capacity, that we've built the confidence, that we know exactly how to refurbish large-scale nuclear projects on time and on budget. And look, I'm a student of history. We recognize in the nuclear space, it is rare. It is perhaps an exception to the rule to say that you're building on time, you're building on budget. And when we return the Darlington nuclear refurbishment, the largest nuclear refurb on Earth, we did that ahead of schedule and $150 million below budget. I remember the critics. The critics said to us, it can't be done again. It won't be done again. It's a one-off. And it is our commitment as Canadians, as Ontarians, as part of our Premier's team, to demonstrate to you all that this government and our team in Ontario has been able to, unit by unit, project by project, from Darlington to Bruce Power, refurbish on time, refurbish on budget. And that is a beautiful success story to profile to you today. And so why we're here? Because we're Northern Transformers, an incredible company supplying and part of the refurbishment of the Unit 3 return to service. This is a unit at Bruce Power that started its refurbishment in 2023, a project that will add or help generate for another 30 plus years power for 800,000 homes. Like an entire city will be electrified as a consequence of the return to service of this unit. And 95% of the investment made by Bruce Power, 95%, 95 cents of that dollar, stayed right here in Ontario. So today, to help demonstrate to the people of Ontario that yes, we can build on time and on budget, we've built a track record you could be proud of. After the critics said it can't be done or couldn't be done, we are so very proud today to announce that Unit 3, this massive refurbishment project, has now been completed 7 months ahead of schedule, saving the ratepayer of Ontario $150 million. A massive achievement for the people of Ontario. An incredible achievement for the workers who made it happen. Our skilled workers are the best on earth. Credible, skilled, yes, but committed to the cause. They believe in the work they're doing. And I'm grateful to many of our private sector union representatives with us today, because without you, we wouldn't be here today. And the supply chain, the deeply Canadian supply chain that is helping to make this happen. Unit by unit, we are setting a record. Folks, this is record-setting, unprecedented in the history of Ontario to return a unit this early, this ahead of schedule. And that is an awesome achievement for you all. To the critics, to those that are just not there on nuclear, and while you are part of an absolute minority of Ontarians, it's okay. We want to build your confidence, folks. So the women and men out there who may not have got to yes on the benefits of nuclear, there is no case study for a more deeply Canadian supply chain. 95%, folks, the alternative, often for many of the technologies we will procure, will come from countries like China, or maybe even the US. And I think in this moment we could agree we want to build more here at home. And why we chose Northern Transformers as a case study for building more at home, the Bruce Power commitment to this country, because they made a decision to move all of the investments and procurements of transformers that historically were purchased from the United States to Ontario, to the city of Vaughan, to this country. And our Premier is in Washington as we speak, making the case for a strong, united, integrated economic supply chain, making the case that we have to stand up for our workers and stand up for the North America supply chain because we face a common threat from China. And while he is in Washington, we are here today, repatriating investment away from the US, adding value, creating jobs, giving hope to the people of Ontario. And that is an awesome way to start the week. So thank you all for being a part of this amazing achievement. And be assured, we are not finished our work. we're going to continue to build your confidence unit by unit. I absolutely know that when it comes to nuclear power, our best days are ahead. Now, I get it. We got to build, we got to invest, we got to spend a great deal to ensure we've got the power. But I just want to conclude with a message to families out there, especially with the summer and with energy bills, putting pressure on families as we use more power for AC and so many other needs through the summer. Our government launched the largest energy savings program in the history of Ontario. In fact, the history of Canada. We announced a $11 billion investment, a 2-to-1 savings for the people of Ontario because we want to make life more affordable. We're talking about, insulation in the attic, new windows and doors, new smart meters. We're talking about investments in rooftop solar and battery, projects like a heat pump that could help reduce the cost for families. We're covering up to 30% of that expenditure. Stackable, meaning a federal subsidy or bursary can be added to these investments to reduce your costs. It reduces your bills, it reduces demand on the grid, and it's a win-win for you, it's a win-win for Ontario. I want to encourage families to check it out, saveontario.ca. Now look, it is wildly oversubscribed, meaning Ontarians are going to the website, they're investing. We've seen a huge uptake, an unprecedented uptake of Ontarians and businesses, small and large, and families turning to this savings program. But I want to encourage you to use it today. Saving money is important. Energy conservation is critical to our government's vision to build a strong economy. So I'm very honored to be with you all today. I'm honored to share the stage with so many of my colleagues. I do want to recognize friends from the Vaughan Chamber who have joined us. They've been wonderful champions of the cause of clean energy. And with that, I want to introduce the man who helped execute this project, a true visionary, and that is Eric Chassard, the President and CEO of Bruce Power. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Minister Lecce. Thanks a lot for your vision and leadership. That's thanks to this type of vision and leadership that we are able to set up long-term partnership, long-term contract with companies like Northern Transformers, and to bring, in fact, what we are buying outside of Canada right here in Canada. So today, I'm extremely pleased. It's a very proud day for Bruce Power. In fact, a project that complex, believe me on this, it's a daily grind, right? You need to work on this every day, and it's hard every day. Unit 3 was really an innovation step for us, where we worked what we did well on Unit 6, but at the same time, we innovated with a brand new worldwide, that was the first time in the world that a chemical decontamination was used to reduce 80% of the dose rate to refurbish a unit. And at the same time, we innovated in fully automated robots. But I really want to recognize our skilled trades folks, all our people who are making this happen. Project is all about people, as you know, right? We can't do anything without our dedicated workforce, and I'm telling you, they are just amazing. I've done this in 13 different countries. This is the best workforce I've seen working on projects. So thanks a lot for this. So today, as I said, it's a very proud day for Bruce Power. We bring this Unit 3, and right now it's delivering 760 megawatts to the grid, and we bring it before summer. That's really something we took to heart when we discussed our customer, the ISO. They were really struggling to secure, in fact, the power needed for summer. And so that's why we heavily invested in our people, in training, and also in terms of safety, quality, productivity, but also in automation with our partners right here in Canada to make sure we would be able to accelerate, in fact, the return to service of Unit 3 to secure the grid in Ontario. But today is the day also for our partners. I really want to thank all our suppliers, all our partners, in fact, all our friends, because that's what we are talking about. We're all friends. We're all in this together. We have some good times. We have some tough times. We are in this together, and we stick to it during our long-term cycle project. So this success in Canada is your success, right? Our ability, in fact, to bring all what we were buying outside of Canada right here in Canada, in Ontario, spending 95% of whatever we spend at Bruce Power stays in Canada, right? 95%. It doesn't happen by chance. Right? It's part of a very long-term strategy where we worked, in fact, companies who were not in the nuclear business, like Northern Transformers. We invested, we helped them to develop so that we can buy all these transformers you're seeing around you, not only in the units that we have refurbished, but also the ones that we are going to refurbish. We are in this together for the next 25, 30 years, thanks to the refurbishment program, but also our new build program. Unit 3 coming ahead of schedule is also very good news for the ratepayer. In fact, Bruce Power is taking all the risk in terms of overrun and so on. We're bringing this under budget and ahead of schedule, but also what we are saving, we give it back to the ratepayers. We are giving back today 150 million to the ratepayers. That's going to help all of us to reduce the bill of our electricity. So when we are doing this, clearly we are bringing back Unit 3 back on the grid for the next 40 years, and that's going to provide clean, reliable, and affordable electricity for Ontarians and attracting very good business in Ontario. So I really want to conclude my speech. Again, projects are all about people. A big shout out to the friends, the partnership we have in Ontario. We could not do what we are doing without you, and it's a great success. This Unit 3 success is your success. You're securing clean, reliable, and affordable electricity for your kids, for your grandkids, for the generations to come. Thanks a lot. So now it's my great, great pleasure to welcome to the podium a long-term friend of Bruce Power. She's been with us during the tough times. She's a great supporter of Bruce Power. Please welcome the Honorable Lisa Thompson, Minister of Rural Affairs and MPP of Huron-Bruce. Thank you, Lisa.
Well, hello, everyone. I just want to start off by saying that a week ago, somebody had given me a teaser. He had said, just wait where this announcement is going to be held. And all I can say is, wow. Northern Transformers, I wish we could bottle you up and share you right across Ontario to demonstrate the partnership and the skill and the investment that is going to drive our nuclear energy to heights that will realize, as we just heard from Eric, affordable, reliable, long-term energy that we can count on right across this province. Thank you so very much. It is indeed a pleasure to be here today to celebrate the successful refurbishment of Bruce Power's Unit 3. I want to begin by acknowledging my colleague, the Energizer Bunny himself, the Minister of Energy and Mines, the Honorable Stephen Lecce. His leadership on this file has been steadfast, and under his watch, Ontario has become a jurisdiction that just doesn't talk about clean energy. We're delivering it. And most importantly, we're delivering it on time, under budget, and with a plan that extends decades into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we talk about when we talk about, at its core, Ontario understands what it means to drive efficiencies, and we have so many partners to celebrate in that spirit. Today, in terms of celebrations, we have many, many milestones that are coming down the pipeline. Or I should say the transmission line, more exact. But today, we're celebrating a milestone that reflects our government's dedication to ensuring Ontario has the clean, reliable energy it needs to grow, thrive, and remain the best place to call home. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the dedication, expertise, and the leadership that we have seen from Bruce Power, I might say, for decades. Bruce Power's innovation and commitment to excellence continues to position Ontario as a global leader in the nuclear sector. And as the MPP for Huron-Bruce and Minister of Rural Affairs, I have seen firsthand the impact this facility has had on our rural communities and our local economies, not only at home in Huron and Bruce and Grey counties, but I've seen it right across this province. But talking about Bruce County, Grey, and Huron counties, this region has been long understood to be a welcoming home to Bruce Power because we have long understood the value of what Bruce Power brings, not only to our region, but right across this province in terms of realizing affordable, reliable, and clean energy. You know, as a source of power, it also is an anchor for the communities surrounding it. Creating jobs close to home and supporting local businesses and building opportunities in rural communities and small towns is a value and a priority that we have bear witness to in terms of Bruce Power leading by example. And at its core, Unit 3 is about the people, it's about stability, and it's about building a strong, shared future. This refurbishment will power more than 800,000 homes for the next 35 years. It's generational what's being realized today. And this celebration is an exclamation point behind the fact that this refurbishment will help Ontario meet electricity demand projected to grow by up to 90%. And keep in mind what we just heard from Eric Chichard. 95% of their investment is made in Canada. So helping to diversify local economies, strengthen regional industries, and create new opportunities for growth, we thank you, Bruce Power, and your partners like Northern Transmissions and Transformers. Projects like this demonstrate that rural communities are not only on the sidelines, we're actually full participants in realizing the future of Ontario's economy. Our rural communities are central to it. So let's be clear, this is not the end of the story, ladies and gentlemen. With 5 more units still to be refurbished and Bruce Power's life extension program running through 2033, the momentum we are celebrating today will carry this province forward for a generation. Thank you so very much, and I'm now very privileged and honored to pass the podium along to Lecce, President and Chief Executive Officer for Northern Transformer Corporation. Thank you.
Hi, it's Alexei Miecznikowski, President and CEO at Northern Transformer. What a great pleasure to host this occasion. It's an honor. It's a moment where we rediscover our belief in ourselves as Canadians, as Ontarians. It's a wonderful moment to celebrate. Let's face it, the nuclear industry has a terrible track record in the past of hitting costs and timeline commitments to the point where many say it's too difficult, maybe it's impossible to succeed. Well, in Ontario, we're changing that story. Under the leadership of this government, under the leadership of Bruce Power and its ecosystem of partners here in Ontario, we're very proud to be one of those. We're proving to the world what is possible. When you make a commitment, when you have leadership, and you bring your team together to make it happen. All over Ontario, in offices and in production halls, just like this one, our workers and professionals rose to the occasion and executed flawlessly. I'm so proud of my team assembled here for your part of the achievement. Your efforts, your teamwork, you're not just generating good wages, we're building our own wonderful company. We're also creating opportunity for all of you and all Ontarians, and we're changing the story of nuclear industry, and we're changing the story of Ontario. This is about regaining our self-belief that we can set extraordinary goals and achieve them. Northern Transformer has a very ambitious dream. We are bringing back the power transformer industry to the province of Ontario. We're growing this business here in Vaughan. We actually have another expansion underway. We're building a second world-class large power transformer facility in Innisfil, Ontario. And we're able to do all this because of the leadership from the Government of Ontario, making long-term investments to transform our electricity sector. And also the leadership of our utility clients, like Eric at Bruce Power, who saw the opportunity early on and invested in us, worked with us to develop our capability to enter the nuclear sector. OPG, Hydro One, Hydro Ottawa, Electra, and many, many others who've seen the tremendous value of building long-term, mutually beneficial relationships with local Ontario companies. We see your commitment. It gives us faith. Faith in the face of a lot of global uncertainty, a lot of supply chain disruption, tariffs with our clients in the US and so forth. We're still doubling down on our investment because we can see certainty. So this is an extraordinary day, a wonderful day to celebrate. It's an achievement. I have a wonderful and extraordinary team, and I want to thank them again. None of this is possible without you. Some of you here and here. I'd like to say thank you to our fearless and visionary leader, Giovanni Marcelli. Thank you to our dear clients, Bruce Power, who believed in us from the beginning, OPG Hydro One, and thank you to the Minister and his government for your bold leadership and your long-term vision. We can build on this. And I have to introduce someone, but I'm not sure who.
That will conclude our press conference. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Maybe just before we wrap up, could I just ask my colleague Laura Smith, she's the representative for the people of Thornhill. We are a team in Vaughan. The supply chain of energy goes far beyond Maple. This is a truly Canadian success story. So will you permit a minute to my friend and colleague Laura Smith? Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor, and I want to thank the Minister and the entire team for allowing me to be here. Now more than ever, partnerships matter. Canadian partnerships matter. Just about 10 minutes south of this location, we've got the riding of Thornhill, which has an incredible manufacturing industry in the Concord area. This isn't just good news for the Concord area of Vaughan. This is good for so many areas in Ontario, and I'm so proud and honored to be here. I'm also touched by Giovanni's story, building something from nothing, coming here with literally nothing, and those partnerships matter. In the face of US tariffs, partnering with our Canadian partnerships is so important. So I want to thank Giovanni. I want to celebrate his success, Bruce Powers, and everyone who's been here today, because this is an excellent opportunity to really celebrate what is happening and what will happen, not just for this generation, but the next generation to come and the generation after that. Thank you.